What's up guys, I'm Malcolm. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with an update of Hunter Labrada. So Hunter has been posting the list out of all the guys who placed top 6 at the Olympia last year. And there is a reason for that. So he decided to get his shoulder fixed this year. And there is no word about what show he's gonna do to qualify for this year's Miss Olympia. If in fact he's gonna be competing this year, because we do not even know if he has the plans of competing at all this year. So last year Hunter was looking pretty damn impressive at the same point in time, as we know he guest posed, weighing above 295 pounds at the Pittsburgh Pro last year. So his off-season, that was up and running by this same point in time last year. And this year, up until a few weeks ago, he did not even jump onto his off-season protocol. Now there are still plenty of shows left if he actually decides to go for a show this year and qualify for the Olympia. Even last year, he did Italy Pro, which was a show 6 weeks before the Olympia last year. Now I have got to say Hunter doesn't get the credit, the respect that he truly deserves. And people just say all of his accomplishments, they are because of his name and his father Lee Labrada, which just isn't fair towards him at all, especially after the way he showed up at the Olympia last year, especially at the prejudging. That was his all-time best. But that being said, they are still trying to figure out how to peak him to absolute perfection, to bring the best out of him, to bring that 1 week out look, where the man looks insanely big and round, but at the same time, dry as a bone. But still the man has been top 6 at the Olympia for the last 2 years in a row. So let's just hope that he commits to doing a show and gets to the Olympia stage this year, because his presence, that is only gonna make the fight for the Olympia top 6 way more tricky and way more interesting, because Nick Walker is coming back and we are finally gonna see possibly Behrouz Tabani at the Olympia stage this year. Guys, we have a limited time offer. If you buy any flavor of Bloodshot, you are gonna get a free Dying Breed t-shirt. The discount code is on the screen right now, and use the code FAZI10 to get 10% extra discount. So shout out to Muscle Time Archives for posting this picture of Nick Walker from his first ever Miss Olympia. So nobody talks about that version of the mutant. But when you start analyzing that picture of his, you realize that was quite an impressive version from the mutant. So the most amazing thing that stands out in that particular picture, that is of course his waistline. We rarely say this about Nick Walker, but here, at his Olympia debut, he actually looked ecstatic. But that really was an overdated version of Nick Walker, because his quads here, they looked kinda deflated. Plus his leg stance here, that also did not help him that much, especially in comparison to how he looked a couple of weeks before the show at the Arnold 2021. So with the mighty Pittsburgh Pro coming up in less than 2 weeks time, there has been so much talk about Nick, as he's finally coming back after 1 year. What if Nick Walker returns with his waistline looking like this time around, but with all that added mass in all the areas, like his upper half, his legs, especially with more quad sweep? Now we do not know whether that's even possible for a guy like Nick Walker or not, because the last time we saw him on the stage, that was at the New York Pro last year, and one of the observations by the judges after that show, that was Nick's waistline, that was looking wider there, especially in comparison to his previous looks. Now we already know that Nick here at this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro, he's gonna be a lot bigger than 2021, and his conditioning, that is also looking pretty solid right now. So many questions about the mutant, they will be answered in just under 2 weeks time now. Now on a separate note, Nick's waist back in 2021, in all the 3 shows that he did, starting with the New York Pro, to the Arnold, and then the Olympia, that was insane in all of them. So hopefully he can bring that back. Next up we have an update from Kon Pearson. So the strength of Keone, that is peaking as he moved past 230 pounds, which is his heaviest ever off-season weight. I mean, just look how easily he's able to move that kind of weight in that shoulder press. And I must say his arms are also looking pretty enormous. So this guy is the king of 212 for 2 years now, and going for his 3rd Olympia title this year. And there just isn't anyone in the entire 212 right now who can challenge or pose a real threat to someone like Keone, especially considering the fact that him and Patrick, they have been nailing that peak to absolute perfection for 3 years now. And we know Keone's genetics, they are just way too good for all of these guys in that entire division. His V-tape or his X-frame, they are not only the best in the 212, but the entire Pro League across any division, and you can even argue that his hamstrings last year at the Olympia, they were some of the craziest that we ever saw in the recent past. And the scariest thing is that Keone competed at around 200 pounds, so he has a cushion of another 12 pounds while staying in the 212 before he maxes out. And that is the time that every single bodybuilding fan out there, they are waiting for, because then Keone is gonna jump into the men's open and go up against the big boys. And that, I think, is gonna be a memorable moment. Now take the words of a legend like Jay Cutler and Lee Haney, who said that Keone is gonna be a similar story like Derek Lansford and Hadi Chopin, and they say that he's eventually gonna win the men's open Olympia as well. Next up, we have a 2 weeks out physique update of a guy who is gonna be the biggest competition for Terence Ruffin at this year's Pittsburgh Pro. I mean, look at that dead face. He's arguably one of the most ripped and the most shredded guy in classic physique division right now. And Josema's record, that speaks for itself. He won 2 shows back to back in his rookie year as a classic physique competitor, and then he placed top 6 at his Olympia debut, out of a total of 58 guys. Now we all know his back is gonna be one of the best on the stage, and his battle with Terence Ruffin, that is gonna be a very interesting one, as he's one of those taller guys with a great lower half. Now he doesn't have a very good V-taper, or as pronounced, as someone like Terence, and that is why you're gonna see him hitting those front shots with an angle to create that illusion of having more V-taper. So the real question with Joab Beast is that whether he's gonna be improved at this year's Pittsburgh Pro compared to what we saw at the Olympia last year, because the man is fighting very hard to stay within that weight limit. And if someone doesn't know, Josema started his pro career in the men's open back in 2023, and he had to drop some weight just to fit in classic physique. So the most amazing thing about Joab Beast is that amazingly built physique, that is just at the age of 23. Next up, we have an 8 weeks out physique update from Nihat Kaya, the undisputed next big thing in that 212 division. So this guy is going back to that same Dubai Pro show where he made his pro debut last year, and he finished second behind Angel Calderon. Now I'm pretty sure that these two guys, they're gonna be battling it out for that first place this year as well. Now Angel Calderon hasn't confirmed his attendance for Dubai Pro this year, but he's in for the New York Pro, and it would simply make no sense to miss an opportunity to win another 40k with just another few weeks of dieting. So coming back to Nihat Kaya, look at the depth of those hamstrings, and keep in mind, this guy is just 22 years old. This guy is just built different. From the time he turned pro, and the physique that he had roughly 2 years back versus the one that he has right now, this has to be one of the most insane transformation that we have witnessed in a long time. So he continues to improve, to impress everyone by growing at such a fast pace. But at the same time, he has been able to keep that waistline very tight and small throughout that process. So he's working with Patrick Tour, the same coach as Kon Pearson. So we know he's gonna be peeled out of his mind and inside out for this upcoming Dubai Pro. So last year he did just 1 show and he shut the season down. And I'm pretty sure he's going to win Dubai Pro this year. But it is gonna be so great if he puts his name out there and do some more shows before the Olympia this year. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.